welcome back to the garden. So today, how filthy my hands are, today is all about canna lilies. So I want to show you how I'm going to divide mine. I'm not going to go crazy. All I want to do is literally split mine in half. So I'm going to show you the process and the work behind it and what the method is. So without further ado, let's get into the video. There we have it. So this is my canna lily, what's been sat in the borders, but obviously in the pot. As you guys know, I do a lot of potted stuff and then it kind of gets buried, so it's easier to bring in for the winter. So this is it. Now I could leave it for a little bit longer. I could do it springtime, but I want to do it now just to get a head start on next year, because I want to start making plans for making the garden even bigger and better. So this, like I said, you could leave this because it is throwing out some flower spikes. So all I am going to do is deadhead what I've got, which I haven't done just for the purpose of this video, and then I'm going to show you how I divide it. So for the deadheading purposes, we'll just take this one. So for the most part, it's done. So all this is going to come off. So I'm going to cut that there, there, and there. I'll show you what that looks like once that's done. There we have it. So just for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to leave that on. I do believe that we're about to turn a corner with the weather, so that's why this is happening now. So I'm just going to wriggle this out of the pot and then take a look at the root system. As you guys can see, it's got a really good root system on it all the way around. So what I'm going to do here, you can either do this with a sharp knife, but I'm actually going to put like a saw just straight down the middle and then just split it into the two. Then what I am going to do is just take a little bit of root off around it, not too much though, and then I'll give them just a touch of a prune to compensate for your root loss. And then obviously these guys are going to start to begin to look towards winter. There we go. So could be greedy here, okay, and we could do this one into about 3 different pieces. So as you can see here, we've got new growth here, okay, so this will be one, just here. This would be another one. So these 2 stems here, put my hands on, and then these 3 stems there, that could be your 3. But I actually want to try and keep some size to these, and I'm not too bothered about having like 5 small ones. I'd rather have 2 reasonably decent sized ones next season. So that's the reason behind that. So I'm going to go ahead and pot these up, knock a little bit of soil off, but try and leave as much root as I can. I'm probably going to clean the leaves up, the bottom leaves up a tiny bit as well, and get them in some smaller pots. They'll be absolutely fine then for the rest of this season. So we're talking probably less than a month of mildish weather, depending on where we go, and then they'll start getting dormant, ready for next year. So they'll have the big chop down, and we'll keep these not wet, not moist, but just ticking over with water over winter. So the thing for me when it comes to sort of splitting plants up or dividing plants, I was always taught way back in the day, in my college days, that there's no such thing as sort of too rough. And the reason why I say that is because over the years I've kind of like done things with secateurs and really carefully, and then it's took, and I've also done things with spades or forks back to back and things like that for perennials, and it really doesn't matter. So don't be afraid. Obviously you've just seen me there go through that with like a big, well, not a big saw, but a saw, and it really won't be a problem, and it is literally that simple. So really don't be afraid to give it a go, and that is what gardening is all about for me. If I lose those 2 plants, which I won't, but if I did, that's all a part of the learning process. I mean, I've done this many times, so hopefully you guys can take something away from these videos. So with that being said, I've now got 3. So not that I have to justify it, but my decision for more, my lack of big pots that I've got knocking around me. So I've just gone to fit these couple into a couple of big pots ready for the winter with a little bit of fresh compost, just a little bit, because there's no point putting it a lot because of the nutrient value, and I haven't got any. So I've got one big one sitting in there which will get slightly covered over, and then these two will go in smaller ones. So that's what gardening is all about. So please excuse all the mess, but this is pretty much the end product here. So what I'll do is I'll move them off this matting, I'll give them a good water, and that's it then. So like I say, we've probably got 3 weeks left until they start to become dormant, where I will give them the final chop. Keep them not wet, but I will sort of drip feed them some water over the winter, just to make sure they don't dry out too much. And that is it. So as you can see, I've got 3 plants there, which I'll be very happy with next year, and I may even get them into the ground next year. So stay tuned for that, because it'll be my first year where I'll leave them over winter within the ground. So that should be exciting, along with maybe 1 banana. Not that I want to sacrifice any. Anyway, I'm waffling, so let's end this video. So I genuinely feel like sort of times are hard at the minute, when it comes to everything, and gardening is a real escape for me, and I hope it is, and I'm sure it is for most of you guys. And then when we talk about sort of financial struggles and things like that, there's nothing better than creating your own free plants, and that's something that I want to continue to sort of share with you guys, moving forwards. Not just tropical, sorry I'm steaming up, not just tropical, but all plants. So if you've got anything that you want any tips on, then if that's something I can support you with, then I will do a video on it, I promise you. So comment down below if you want to know anything else, or you want to know how to divide things, or how we can create some plants, because I'm all up for that. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you in the garden.